Hello and welcome to Castles and Legends. Today I am at Berkeley Castle. It's a few days away from Halloween, so there might be a few spooks in the castle. Try not to get scared, but let's go and explore. Berkeley Castle is a truly remarkable castle. The castle dates back to the 11th century and the Berkeley family are lucky enough to have called it home for 9 centuries. Well, except for a few hiccups along the way. The castle survived numerous battles and has many intriguing and sometimes murderous tales to tell. Let's start at the beginning. Shortly after the Norman conquest, in about 1067, a timber-framed Motte and Bailey castle was built on the site by William Fitzosborne. After William, the castle was held by 3 generations of the de Berkeley family, all rather confusingly named Roger de Berkeley. At the time of the anarchy in 1135 to 1153, which was a civil war over the succession of the crown between Empress Matilda and King Stephen, Roger supported Matilda and Stephen's forces came and besieged Berkeley Castle. Roger was captured and hung in chains outside the walls to try and force the castle's troops to surrender. Their attempts failed, but Roger was dragged away in chains, although he survived. After the anarchy was settled, Stephen granted Berkeley Castle to Robert Fitzhardinge. During the mid to late 12th century, Robert rebuilt Berkeley Castle in stone and added a circular shell keep with 5 protruding towers and a curtain wall. Robert's son, Maurice, married Roger de Berkeley's daughter, Alice, and Maurice took the de Berkeley name and so continuing the dynasty. During the First Barons' War, 1215–17, the de Berkeleys supported the barons over King John. Berkeley Castle was the meeting place that the barons chose to host a meeting of the West Country barons before they set out to seal the Magna Carta. King John refused to accept and abide by the Magna Carta and he seized Berkeley Castle. The castle was later returned to Thomas de Berkeley, although the family continued to oppose the crown throughout the Second Barons' War. It was the murder of King Edward II that has really helped secure Berkeley Castle's place in notable history. In 1326, the castle was ransacked by a favourite of Edward, Hugh de Spencer. Soon after, Edward's estranged wife, Queen Isabella, and her ally, Roger Mortimer, ousted Edward. Initially, Edward was held at Corfe Castle, but the local people sympathised with Edward, so he was swiftly moved to Berkeley. Here we can see the room, which was apparently Edward's cell when he was imprisoned in the castle. Supporters of Edward once managed to breach the castle walls and rescue him, but not for long. He was soon recaptured and returned to the castle. Soon after his re-imprisonment, Edward was murdered in 1327. The most common and rather gruesome tales of Edward's murder suggest he died from either a red-hot poker inserted into his anus or by suffocation. Ouch, both sound pretty terrible. Following Edward's murder, Roger Mortimer and the castle's owner, Thomas de Berkeley, were charged with murder. Roger was executed, but Thomas was acquitted as apparently he was not at the castle when the murder occurred. In the mid-14th century, the castle received an extensive makeover from Thomas de Berkeley. At the north of the keep, Thorpe's Tower was constructed, an inner gatehouse to the southwest, and various buildings within the inner bailey. In 1492, the castle took another break from being in the de Berkeley's hands. Following various family disputes over the castle, the then castle's owner, William de Berkeley, gave the entire estate of Berkeley to King Henry VII in return for various titles, including being made Earl Marshal of the realm. The castle was returned to Henry Lord Berkeley in 1553 after King Henry VI died childless. During the English Civil War of 1642 to 1651, the castle had passed down to George de Berkeley, who supported the royalist side. George garrisoned the castle, and rightly so, as the castle was attacked and taken by the parliamentarians. During the Civil War conflict, the castle changed hands 5 times. In 1645, parliamentary forces led by Colonel Thomas Rainsborough lay siege on the castle. The parliamentarians fired a cannon at point-blank range at the adjacent church of St. Mary the Virgin, blowing its roof straight off. This certainly shook the garrison troops inside the castle, and they hastily surrendered. At the end of the war, the castle managed to avoid being slighted. George Lord Berkeley was allowed to retain ownership of the castle under the rule that he breached the keep wall and never repaired the keep or outer bailey of the castle. The castle was later modernised to add home comforts such as electricity and plumbing in the 1920s and 30s by the 5th Earl of Berkeley, who also added the clock tower. A few more interesting points about the castle include a certain playwright and poet called William Shakespeare wrote the famous Midsummer Night's Dream for the wedding of Sir Thomas Berkeley. The last court jester in England, Dickie Pierce, died at the castle after falling from the minstrel's gallery. The castle was used for scenes in the 2003 film The Other Berlin Girl and was used in the 2017 television series Who Do You Think You Are, when actress Courtney Cox discovered she is a 21-generation direct descendant of Thomas de Berkeley. Visiting Berkeley Castle was an amazing experience. There's so much history here. As I explored it, I felt like I was taking a step back in time. I would have preferred the castle not to have been covered in Halloween decorations, so if I visit again, I will make sure I check their website more thoroughly first. The oldest surviving part of the castle is the Round Keep. It was completed in 1153 and stands at 62 feet high. My favourite room in the castle has to be the Great Hall. It stands at 20 metres long and 10 metres high. It's not the original Norman Great Hall. The hall we see today was built in the mid-14th century. Although on one wall the original Norman arches are still visible,